There are moments in life when everything seems to crumble, when pain, failure and loss make you believe you cannot go on. Yet those very moments are not the end, they are the beginning of discovering who you truly are. Strength does not shout, it reveals itself in silence, in endurance, in the quiet decision to take one more step when every part of you wants to stop. You are not weak because you struggle, you are alive because you still choose to rise. The truth is, your strength has never left you, it was simply waiting for you to see it. Strength is not built in moments of comfort, it is forged in the fire of struggle. Every obstacle you face, every hardship that tests your endurance is shaping you into something greater. When life throws chaos at you, it is not punishing you, it is preparing you. The weight you carry is not there to crush you, but to make you capable of carrying more. True power does not come from what you achieve easily, but from what you survive when everything in you wants to give up. The moments that once made you tremble are the same ones that build your unshakable foundation. Pain is not your enemy, it is your greatest teacher. It arrives to wake you up, to remind you that there is still more within you waiting to be discovered. Every time you resist pain, you resist your own growth. It strips away illusions, comfort and pride until only truth remains. Through pain, the spirit learns endurance and the heart learns patience. What feels unbearable in one moment often becomes the source of wisdom in another. The energy you spend avoiding pain could instead be used to transform it into strength. The limits you perceive are only walls built by your own thoughts. When the mind says, "I can't," the body and spirit obey, but once you challenge that voice, it weakens. Most of what stops you exists only in imagination. Fear and doubt are powerful illusions that grow stronger only when you listen to them. The truth is, every human being has within them a vast, untapped power waiting to be remembered. The only way to discover it is to walk beyond what feels safe, beyond what feels possible. Real freedom begins the moment you stop believing in limitation. Endurance transforms weakness into strength and pain into wisdom. When you endure with awareness, every struggle becomes an act of transformation. It is not the intensity of pain that breaks a person, but their resistance to it. The moment you stop fighting your circumstances, they begin to shape you. Each fall teaches humility, each failure teaches focus, and each setback teaches resilience. In this process, you are not being destroyed, you are being refined. Strength is not loud or violent, it grows quietly, deep within, waiting for the right moment to emerge. The human spirit is indestructible. The body may weaken, the mind may waver, but the essence within you cannot be broken. That inner core, untouched by fear or loss, is your real strength. It is always there, even when you forget it. Life does not ask for perfection, it only asks that you do not stop. Every time you rise after a fall, you reclaim that power. Every time you move forward despite uncertainty, you honor the strength that has always lived inside you. Pain is not something that comes to break you, it arrives to awaken you from the illusions of comfort and ease. It forces you to see the truth about yourself and the world around you. When everything is effortless, growth becomes slow and shallow, but when pain enters, it shakes the roots of your being. It strips away everything unnecessary, leaving behind only what is real. Pain is not a punishment, but a message that something within you needs to change, to evolve, to rise. Every wound you carry holds a lesson that cannot be learned through comfort. Pain reveals the hidden strength that lies beneath weakness. It shows you that endurance is not about ignoring suffering, but facing it with awareness. When you stop running from pain, it begins to transform into power. Each tear, each moment of despair refines your character like fire refines metal. It burns away pride, ego and fear until all that remains is clarity and strength. Pain teaches patience, for in the process of suffering, the soul learns stillness. It teaches you that healing does not come from escaping, but from understanding. When you endure pain consciously, it loses its control over you. It becomes a silent teacher that guides you toward wisdom. You begin to see that pain has depth, meaning and purpose. Without it, joy would be shallow and strength would never mature. Pain deepens your capacity to feel, to understand, and to connect with life at its core. The most powerful souls are not those who never felt pain, but those who learn to walk through it with awareness. They have faced darkness and discovered that it cannot overpower them. Pain becomes a mirror showing how much you can withstand and how much you can grow. The more you face it, the less it frightens you. It teaches you that every struggle has an end, but every lesson from that struggle remains with you forever. In the silence that follows pain, you find transformation. You realize that suffering was never your enemy, it was your guide. The same pain that once broke you now builds your foundation. It gives birth to humility, compassion and strength beyond measure. When you finally understand pain as a messenger, not an enemy, you stop fearing it. You begin to walk through life with deeper awareness, unshaken and alive in every sense of the word. Circumstances do not define you, your response to them does. The storm may shake you, but it cannot erase who you are. Every challenge that rises before you is not meant to destroy, but to reveal the strength that already exists within. When you allow yourself to be shaped by every situation, you lose your center. But when you remain rooted, no matter how violent the winds, you begin to realize that stability is born not from control but from awareness. The world will throw uncertainty, loss and disappointment at you, and each time it will test your ability to stand firm. Pain and struggle are not signs of weakness, but invitations to grow beyond your limits. Every hardship carries a hidden lesson, one that polishes your character and strengthens your resolve. You cannot stop life from happening, but you can choose how to meet it. This choice determines whether you evolve or remain trapped in reaction. When you stop identifying yourself with what happens to you, a quiet power begins to awaken within. You start seeing situations for what they are, not as personal attacks but as experiences passing through your consciousness. People may misunderstand you, circumstances may challenge you, but you are more than the chaos around you. This realization is liberation. The moment you stop being controlled by external forces and start acting from inner clarity. There will always be moments when the weight of life feels unbearable, when everything seems to fall apart. But it is precisely in those moments that your true strength is revealed. If you allow awareness to guide you, even your suffering becomes a tool for transformation. You begin to understand that peace is not found in avoiding pain, but in rising above it. Life storms may rage, yet they cannot drown one who has learned to float on awareness. Every experience, no matter how painful or pleasant, is simply shaping the being you are becoming. You are not a victim of events, you are the consciousness experiencing them. Once this truth settles deep within, nothing in this world can break you. The storm loses its power, fear loses its grip, and you begin to live not as a reaction to life, but as a master of it. Limits are not imposed by the world, but created within the mind. Every time you say, "I can't," it is not reality that speaks, but your fear. The boundaries you see are not walls, they are illusions drawn by hesitation and disbelief. When you stop feeding these illusions, they begin to disappear. The moment you challenge the thought that tells you it's impossible, a new door opens. You realize that your greatest limitation was never your ability, but your acceptance of limitation itself. The mind has the power to build or destroy your path. It can convince you that you are too small to make a difference or that you are strong enough to move mountains. When you identify with weakness, every obstacle looks larger than life. But when you awaken to the strength that already resides in you, those same obstacles begin to shrink. The transformation does not happen outside, it begins within. The battlefield is not the world, it is your own thoughts. Every dream that dies does so because of doubt, not because it was impossible. The mind often seeks comfort over growth, and this comfort creates invisible chains. You stop trying not because you lack potential, but because the mind whispers that failure is dangerous. Yet, failure is never the end, it is simply part of the process of mastery. When you understand this, the fear of failing loses its control and the desire to evolve takes its place. You cannot expand if you are always protecting your comfort. Growth demands friction, it demands stepping into spaces that feel uncertain and uncomfortable. The mind resists this because it clings to safety. But safety is the enemy of transformation. Every time you push beyond a fear, a new version of yourself emerges, stronger. Strength is not something you acquire, it is something you uncover. It has always existed within you, hidden beneath hesitation, fear, and self-doubt. Every obstacle you face is not there to weaken you, but to peel away the layers that hide your inner power. Life keeps testing you, not to destroy you, but to remind you of the force that lies silent within. Every time you endure pain and rise again, you awaken a part of yourself that you didn't know existed. That power was never lost, it was only waiting for your courage to call it forth. When life throws you into chaos, you discover that survival is not an act of luck but a declaration of strength. You may bend, you may stumble, but something within refuses to collapse completely. That refusal is not defiance, it's the natural strength of your being. The mind may convince you that you are exhausted, that you cannot go further, yet your inner essence always knows how to rise from ashes. Strength is not the absence of struggle, it is the quiet force that carries you through it without breaking. The more you experience pain, the more your true power takes shape. Hardship is not your enemy, it is your forge. Every difficulty burns away weakness, every disappointment clears away illusions, and every failure strengthens your foundation. You cannot understand your strength by staying comfortable. The moment you face discomfort and move through it, you stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming the master of it. Strength is not found in what is easy, it is revealed in what you choose to endure. True strength is not loud and it does not seek validation. It doesn't announce itself in victory, it reveals itself in silence, in moments where no one is watching, in times when giving up seems easier but you keep going anyway. This power is calm, stable and steady. It doesn't react to life's storms. It allows them to pass, knowing they cannot touch what lies within. You don't need to show your strength to the world, you only need to live it, breathe it and allow it to guide your every step. When you stop looking for strength outside yourself, life becomes clearer. You realize that everything you were chasing was already within your reach, because it was never outside you to begin with. Strength does not come from winning battles, it comes from refusing to surrender. It grows each time you trust yourself, each time you rise, each time you continue despite uncertainty. You are not fragile, you are built from something unbreakable. The power within you does not fade, it only waits for your awareness to awaken it fully. Strength does not appear from outside, it is awakened from the depth of your being. It is not born from comfort or from things going your way, but from the moments when life throws you into chaos, Every difficulty is an invitation to discover the hidden power that waits silently inside you. When you stop running from your pain and face it directly, something deep within you begins to awaken. That strength was always there, but your fears, doubts, and insecurities buried it under layers of hesitation. Every fall, every heartbreak, and every loss shapes your endurance. You may think you are breaking, but in truth, you are only shedding your weakness. Pain refines you, challenges teach you, and uncertainty molds you into something far more resilient. The one who never faces struggle remains untested and unaware of their true capacity. But the one who endures with awareness, without complaint, discovers a power that no storm can shake. Strength is not a product of ease, it is a result of standing tall when everything around you tries to pull you down. When the mind tells you to quit, your inner being quietly whispers, keep going. That whisper is your true power, silent but unyielding. It doesn't scream or demand attention, but it refuses to be defeated. True strength doesn't come from pushing harder, it comes from not collapsing when everything inside you wants to. It is born in those quiet moments when you choose persistence over surrender. Life does not reward comfort, it rewards awareness and endurance. There is a kind of power that grows when you stop reacting to everything around you. When you stay still and aware, the noise of fear loses its hold. From that stillness, clarity rises. You stop being a victim of life's chaos and begin to move with purpose. Strength is not aggression, it is balance. It is not in shouting or controlling others, it lies in mastering yourself. The one who is still inside cannot be shaken by anything outside. Your strength has no limit except the ones you believe in. When you stop seeking power from motivation or approval, you realize it was within you all along. It does not come from winning, it comes from rising after losing. It does not come from certainty, it grows in doubt. Every moment you choose awareness over fear, every time you rise after falling, you claim another piece of your true power. You are not weak, you are only unaware of how strong you already are. Falling is not a sign of weakness, it is life's way of reshaping your strength. Every time you fall, something within you breaks open, not your spirit, but your illusion of control. That breaking allows new growth to happen. The ground is not your enemy, it is your teacher. It shows you that real balance does not come from avoiding the fall, but from learning how to rise after it. When you stop fearing failure, you begin to see that every fall is simply preparing you to stand with more awareness, more steadiness, and more grace than before. The fall humbles you, it strips away your pride and forces you to look at life as it is, not as you wish it to be. In that moment of loss and confusion, you meet your true self, the one who can endure, adapt and rise again. The pain of falling may sting, but it also burns away the false layers of strength you once depended on. What remains is not fragile, it is real. The fall shows you what cannot be destroyed, and that realization is where real confidence is born. Every rise is built upon the wisdom of a fall. Without falling, there is no depth, and without depth, there can be no height. The one who never stumbles never learns balance. It is through failure that clarity emerges, through pain that endurance is shaped, and through humility that true strength is born. Each fall carries a hidden gift, an understanding that your power does not lie in perfection, but in persistence. The ground that caught you once will become the foundation that lifts you higher. When you rise after falling, something changes inside you. You no longer rise to prove yourself, you rise because staying down no longer feels natural. You begin to realize that rising is not an act of ego, but an act of alignment with your own potential. Every challenge becomes a mirror reflecting the strength you once doubted. The scars from your falls become reminders, not of pain, but of transformation. They tell the story of your becoming, of your evolution through struggle. There will always be another fall waiting ahead, but you stop fearing it because you understand its purpose. Each fall refines your awareness and deepens your resilience. You begin to meet life with openness instead of resistance. The fear of failure fades because you have seen what lies beyond it. Growth, clarity. Falling is no longer an end, it is the continuation of your becoming. Every fall prepares you for a rise so powerful that the world will no longer recognize the person who once stumbled. Endurance is not merely surviving, it is transforming. When pain arrives, most people resist it, hoping it will pass quickly. But the one who endures with awareness does not run from pain, they allow it to reveal its truth. Pain is not a punishment, it is a purifier. It strips away the unnecessary and forces you to… The body may grow weary and the mind may lose its focus, but there is something within you that never collapses. That inner essence does not depend on your circumstances, your emotions or your thoughts. It remains untouched, unshaken and constant. When the body struggles and the mind doubts, this deeper presence silently observes, waiting for you to notice its power. It is the part of you that cannot be destroyed no matter how harsh life becomes. The more aware you become of it, the less you are controlled by the chaos of the outside world. Pain, loss and failure may strike repeatedly, but they only affect what is temporary. The essence that watches through your eyes and feels through your heart remains whole. You can lose everything, yet something in you still whispers, "I am here." That whisper is not weakness, it is your true identity speaking. When you live from that space, no experience can dominate you. Fear begins to fade, not because life gets easier, but because you realize that what you truly are cannot be harmed by it. Most people identify themselves with the fragile layers of life, their body, their thoughts, their achievements. And when those things shake, they believe they are broken. But you are not what you possess or what you think, you are the awareness behind it all. Once you understand this, the storms of life no longer pull you under. The world may test your patience, your endurance and your courage, but it cannot reach the core that exists beyond all limitations. That is the unbreakable center of your being. When you stop fighting life and start witnessing it, you begin to experience freedom. Strength is not in resistance, it is in understanding that nothing outside can truly define or diminish you. The body will age and the mind will wander, yet the consciousness that animates them stays as it always was, steady, vast and whole. The more deeply you connect with that awareness, the more life struggles appear as passing waves instead of drowning storms. Even in the darkest moments, that inner spirit glows quietly beneath the surface. It does not need belief or motivation, it only needs recognition. Every time you return to that stillness, you discover that nothing was ever wrong with you, only forgotten. The true strength of life lies not in conquering the world, but in realizing that your essence never needed protection. It has always been free, indestructible and infinite, waiting for you to live from it fully. True strength does not demand recognition or applause. It does not announce itself with noise or seek validation from others. It exists quietly, steady as the ground beneath your feet. The person who truly knows their strength does not waste time proving it. They move through life with an inner calm that cannot be shaken by praise or criticism. This silence is not weakness, it is power under control. When you no longer need others to see your strength, you have already mastered it. Those who are insecure in their power often shout the loudest. They seek to convince others because they have not yet convinced themselves. But true strength has no need for display. It is felt rather than seen. It flows naturally in your actions, your choices, and your presence. People sense it without you having to say a word. This kind of strength comes from deep awareness, from knowing who you are beyond the surface of roles and titles. In silence, strength matures. When you stop reacting to every situation, when you stop allowing others to control your emotions, you begin to experience real power. You no longer feel the urge to defend or attack because you understand that neither adds anything to who you are. The world loses its grip over you when you realize that strength is not in dominance but in stability. It is the ability to remain grounded when everything around you is trembling. True strength does not come from comparison or competition. It arises when you stand firm in your truth without needing approval. You stop chasing recognition and start living with intention. The moment you stop seeking to prove yourself, your energy begins to flow inward, fueling awareness instead of ego. From that space, every action becomes deliberate and effortless. You act not to be seen, but because it is necessary, because it is right. When strength becomes silent, it transforms into presence. You no longer carry the burden of proving your worth. Your calmness itself becomes power, your stillness itself becomes influence. The strongest person in the room is not the one who speaks the most, but the one whose presence changes everything without a single word. That is the essence of true strength. It moves the world quietly from within. You have survived everything that once felt impossible, and that alone proves your strength. The challenges you fear are not here to destroy you, but to reveal the unshakable power that lies within you. Every scar is a mark of your resilience, a reminder that nothing outside you has ever truly defeated you. You are not fragile, you are forged. The world will test you again and again, but each time you will remember you are and always have been far stronger than you think.